Greetings, guys. It's Fancy, and today I have Michaela. Me,
Yes.
I always struggle with saying her name, y'all. So I'm trying to make certain I say it correctly each time I say it. But Michaela is one of our clients, one of the Swagger Magazine clients, but she's an author, as well as she also speaks on manifestation. And so, as many of you may know, I have been conducting my Finding Fancy vlog, whereas I've just kind of been I'm on this 90-day journey, whereas my goal is to make $60,000 within the 90 days. But I've also my relationship ended, although it didn't end the way I thought it was going to end, but it did end. And I've just been removing a lot of things and people out of my life, as well as just really tapping more into me, because that was something that my therapist suggested that I needed to do. She was saying that I didn't really know who I was. And it was really good for us to come together and have a conversation about manifestation, because I do believe in manifestation. And I actually have my journal here with me that I've been writing in for some years now. But I actually keep a gratitude journal, guys. And I'm trying to find like an entry, but these are like the things that I'm thankful for. But I also oftentimes write out the things that I'm expecting. And so it's really been amazing to see like so many things that I've been writing out. Some things like my new car, I have been writing about it for like 2 years, but I finally got it in March. So I know that manifestation works, but I am not a really what I would call a manifestation expert. So that's why I have Michaela here with me, and she's going to be sharing some tips for you guys, but also just some more insight about how everything works. So welcome, Michaela.
Michaela.
I really struggle with pronouncing her name, but we're gonna get it right by the end of this show. But thank you so much for joining me. And can you tell everyone who you are and a little bit about what you do?
Yes, absolutely. My name is Michaela Thomas. I am the author of Strip to My Truth, Unpacking the Emotional Baggage. I'm also a healing coach, speaker. I kind of wear a lot of different hats in that area. But the key thing is a lot, what I've been, helping others with the most is definitely about manifestation. Is manifesting the things that you want in your life, changes that you like to make, whether it be things, people, wealth, you know, manifesting. And, manifesting it is a practice. It's not just a one-time deal. You ask for something and it magically appears. The key thing to understanding manifestation is that it is not a magic genie. You can't just rub your lamp, make your wish, and then all of a sudden you have what you've asked for.
Mm-hmm.
With manifestation, you not only have to attract what you're asking for to you, but you also have to put in that work to make sure that you are putting yourself in alignment to get it. So it's like, for instance, using the power of suggestion. Your mind is a powerful muscle. And if you open up your mind to, outside of what you're used to, just, one general area, if you broaden that to a larger area, it's pretty amazing what your mind can do. So it's like, for example, what is one of the most popular things, the most desired things that people are asking for? They're asking for wealth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Financial freedom, for money, for abundance. So, when you're manifesting, don't just ask for an abundance in money. Don't just ask for, the Brinks truck to open up its doors while you're on the freeway and money fly out and hit your windshield. Don't just ask for the basic thing, but what you're wanting to do in order to manifest, you're wanting to ask for and attract yourself with the universe opportunity so that your abundance is continuous. If you're just asking for money, there's a chance you could look up and hit $500 on the sidewalk, and then that's it.
Right.
And then you're right back to square one with, well, I need some more money. So when you're manifesting, you don't want to just ask for a specific thing. You want to manifest opportunity so that those specific things that you're asking for continue to flow in and give you what you're wanting. Another key thing to understand is that there's no time limit. on manifestation. But as long as you are doing the work, you can guarantee that it is going to come to you. So don't, manifest a new car and expect a new car in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I just said it took me 2 years.
Yeah, yes. Manifestation, it takes time. And you have to, and that's a part of the practice, is being patient with manifestation. So you want to make sure that you're in constant practice of manifestation. You want to make sure that your mindset is in good health when it comes to manifestation. You want to make sure that if you see, say for instance, you see the house that you want, you're driving down the street, you're claiming that house. Doesn't even matter if somebody is already living in it. You're claiming that house. That is my house. That is my house. And be specific about what you're manifesting. This is my house. This is my, say for instance, for me, we have a large family. So this is my 10 bedroom, 12 bathroom, because Lord knows we need more than one bathroom, 12 bathroom house and 4-car garage. This is my house. And be specific about that house. Be specific about all the little things that make a difference to you. Be specific about how you want your garden to look, how you want your backyard to look, how you want, your driveway to look. If you need a heated driveway for those, if you live in Ohio, those crazy winters, manifest that. Ask for that. Write that down. Look at houses that if they're not the same, that they're similar. That's how you manifest. When it comes to relationships, don't just manifest and write down your list of pros and cons about the type of partner that you want, but you have to make sure that whatever you're asking for from your partner, that you're reciprocating the same. Mm-hmm. That is your manifestation. So if you need a partner that's patient with you, or because sometimes you can be a little impatient, or someone that is sympathetic to your needs, and you have to make sure that you are meeting that just the same. So if you're writing out a list about how and who you want your partner to be, then you need to write out your list of who and what you want yourself to be. I need to be this. This is what I need to work on. And that is the type of partner that you are attracting. And again, it takes time. Be patient. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with what you're asking for, and just continue to do the work. You can't ask for and manifest a business for your business to do great, for your business to do numbers, if you are not working the business. You have to, just like a job, you have to work it. You have to promote it. You have to market it. I myself in that area have learned the hard way that it does take time. Obstacles come up in life, and it's like every time an obstacle comes up and it pushes you back a few steps, sometimes we can get discouraged. Sometimes we can, get a little impatient with ourselves and with whatever we're working on. But ultimately, the key is to keep going. You have to keep going. It's not going to be easy. Sometimes the days are going to seem longer than what they actually are. Sometimes with manifestation, it's just a constant, upkeep of, you got it. I got it. I got to keep going. I got to keep going. I've got it. And if it changes, make sure that, if what you're asking for changes, make sure that you're changing with it. Make sure that the changes you make also align with your change in action. So there are a lot of different ways to manifest. Praying is manifestation. But one of the most popular ways that a lot of people like to do is they like to journal. They like to journal, manifestation journals. They like to meditate. That's also a form of manifestation. However you choose to do it, there's no right and there's no wrong way. However you choose to do it, just make sure that it is an everyday thing. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Even if you don't feel like it, that is actually the best time to really do it, is when you don't feel like it. If you've had a long 12 to 14 hour day and you're just completely exhausted, you're like, I don't feel like writing in my journal, I just don't feel like it, force yourself to get up and do it. Force yourself to get up and do it. Write in that journal, make your board, your vision board, talk to yourself, high frequency sounds, whatever you need to do to manifest the life that you want. Get up and do it. If you can get up when you don't feel like it to punch a clock for a job that you absolutely hate, you can take 10 to 15 minutes out of your day to manifest the life that you love.
And I'm curious, like, how did you get into manifesting? Like, what was your start like? And how did you learn about it?
So we were actually experiencing some really, really, really hard times. At the point in time, we were living in a shelter. And I think that was my rock bottom to saying, I can't do this anymore. I can't keep working at jobs I hate. I can't keep dealing with people that serve me zero purpose. I can't keep putting myself in these situations to allow people to keep taking from me and not replenishing my cup.
Mm-hmm.
And while sitting in the shelter, I'm looking at my babies and I'm like, okay, this is not it.
Yeah.
They need me. If nothing else in this world, who's going to provide for them, and what can I leave behind for them that's going to matter when it's my time to depart from this earth? So instead of asking people for help, instead of asking people for this, for that, I started looking into other resources and I started Googling. And then I actually spoke to my grandmother and she actually mentioned manifestation to me. And I'm like, oh, Mama, what are you talking about? And she's like, she started telling me and I'm like, okay, all right. And then that's when she actually turned me on to, her and my aunt actually turned me on to, it's a documentary called The Secrets, Law of Attraction.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched it and I'm like, okay, I think I can figure this out. So while I was in the shelter, I had already, I was prior to that going to the shelter, I had already filled out applications and everything. So I was, on the job hunt already. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, I just started claiming what I wanted. And I just started, in my mind, it was a constant thought. There was never really a break from it unless I was sleeping. So first thing in the morning when I wake up, okay, this is what I'm doing today. This is what's going to happen today. And that's what I stuck to. So I needed a job in order to get out of that. Was part of the program was for me to have a job to get out of the shelter.
Mm-hmm.
And I kid you not, I believe the second day that I was in the shelter, I woke up 5 a.m. They wake you up pretty early, 5 a.m. And first thing on my mind was job. I don't care. Nothing else. Job. This is what we're doing. So I went out and I probably about 30 to 45 minutes after I walked out of their door, I got a phone call for a job with JCPenney.
Wow.
For an application that I had filled out probably 5 different times over a span of 3 years. And, I was like, the last time I filled out the application, I'm like, okay, well, they're probably not going to hire me. It's fine. I'll just go somewhere else. I honestly had forgotten about it. And when they called, I'm like, okay, this has got to be a joke. Got to be a joke. And she's like, no, you start in 3 weeks. So I'm like, okay, done, job. So the next goal was housing. Mm-hmm. I couldn't keep my children in the shelter. The shelter was riddled with drug needles in their mattresses. It was riddled with mothers who were going through withdrawal and dealing with children's services. It was riddled with, staff who didn't really care about the residents there. This is not the environment that I wanted to have for my children. There was no love in that environment at all.
Right.
So my next goal was housing. I didn't have money yet. I didn't have $1 to my name. I probably had about 35 cents and that was it. And free bus passes. So I would get the bus and I would start walking up and down the streets here in Columbus, Ohio, on the side of town that I wanted to live in the neighborhood that I knew that I could afford at that time. And I was picking out houses that I saw. And I said, that's going to be our house. This is where we're going to live. We're going to be here until it's suitable for us to move to a different location. Probably about a week later, I had reached out to that landlord. I had spoken to them. I said, look, I have a job. I'm in the shelter. This is what I can offer you right now. These are the terms that I have for you. If you can work with these terms, if you can help me, if you can meet me halfway, this is the agreement that we can come to. Probably about a week later, that same landlord decided to give us a chance and say, come get your keys in 2 weeks.
Wow.
So at the same time that I started my job is the same time that I picked up the keys for our new house.
It's so crazy because even as you're listening, I mean, as I'm listening to you tell this story, it makes me think about my own situation because even the house that we're in right now, like
Mm-hmm.
I remember writing about this house when what was it, like the year before the pandemic, I was in this horrible relationship. Basically, I was sleeping on the sofa and my ex was staying in the bedroom and my kids and I were there. And it took like a year of, just writing, thanking God for that house in advance. And it got so bad. But when it was so crazy because it was like in that worst moment where it's literally me and my kids had to just pack our things up and leave in the middle of the night. I ended up getting a house the next day. So, I mean, actually, we left in the
Mm-hmm.
middle of the night. It was like early morning,
Yes.
and I ended up getting a house the same day. So I understand what you're saying, and it's like, you can't put a time frame on it, but when it happens, it happens. It's like it was supposed
No.
to happen then,
Yes.
all that weight, it was supposed to
Yes.
come at those
Yes.
times. So I totally understand. Like you getting a job and a house, like that is just so amazing. So
Yes.
how
Yes.
manifestation works. And it's crazy
Yes.
because a lot of people don't believe it. But again, I think it's like you said, like you have to also be doing the work, that goes
Yes.
along with it. You can't think, oh, I'm gonna think it one day and then I'm not gonna worry about it, or I'm gonna come back to it. And then you have to be aligning yourself with what it is that you're desiring, making certain that you're
Absolutely.
fit for whatever it is that you're expecting. And oftentimes people just think, oh, I can expect this and I'm already perfect. I don't have to do anything. I
Yes.
don't have to change me. I don't have to do any work. But there's real work to it, even though, I mean, it's
It
a lot of
is.
work because it's mental, but it's
Yes.
also work because you're also changing things in the physical as well
Mm-hmm.
to meet that mental. And I don't think
Yes.
people oftentimes grasp that.
They don't. They don't. Especially if you're struggling with, because it is all mental. A lot of people, and a lot of people are struggling with mental health. It's really hard for them to keep those thoughts and their positive thoughts. It's kind of like, they're looking at somebody who is always positive, always bubbly, always happy. They're like, well, why are you always happy? You can't question their, you can't question how they exercise their mental health.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what keeps them in alignment with how they live their life, there's nothing you can do to question that. The
Right.
only thing you can do is to worry about how to exercise yours to keep you in the race so that you're able to cross that finish line to what you're asking for. And because it's all mental and people struggle with mental health, a lot of times it's hard for them to attract what they want or what they need. It's hard for them to manifest. It's hard for them to say, I'm going to get it. They go after this one thing. It's like somebody that's auditioning for a movie or for a showcase or something. They work hard, they audition, and then they don't make it. Your dreams are shot down. Your dreams are killed. You're second guessing yourself. Your confidence is shot. Your self-esteem has kind of been brought down, and you're like second guessing and questioning yourself about, is this really meant for me? Yes, it is. Because if it wasn't, you wouldn't be gifted with the talents that you have in order to be able to audition. You don't stop there. You keep going. Just because you didn't make this one thing, that means that thing right there wasn't meant for you and that something better is coming along.
Right.
So it doesn't mean to stop. It doesn't mean to pause. My thing that I've been here lately with manifestation is, things are bound to happen. You're bound to experience disappointment. You're bound to experience, someone letting you down, or, something not working out the way that you thought it would have worked out. I say give yourself 5 minutes. Give yourself 5 minutes of being upset, because it's the inevitable. We're human emotions. You're going to be upset. Give yourself 5 minutes to be upset, to be disappointed, to be sad, to cry, to vent, to cuss, to scream, to yell, to throw things, whatever you need to do. Give yourself 5 minutes, no more, no less. When you are done screaming, yelling, venting, cussing, screaming, throwing stuff, whatever it is that you need to do, move on. Because it is your emotions that attract to you what you are getting throughout your day, throughout your hour, throughout the next 60 seconds. So if you spend that 5 minutes being upset, and then you spend another 5 and another 5 and another 5, and you're on the phone with your cousin, your mama, your auntie, your best friend, and you're all telling them the same story, guess what? You're giving it that much more energy, and that energy is going to come back to you.
Right.
Times 10. And it may not come back in the same way.
And so basically what you're saying is if you're gonna I guess practice that energy. Put a
Yes.
time limit to it. Get it
Yes.
out. Release
Yes.
it, but don't hold on to it. Don't just
Exactly.
keep bringing the situation up. And oftentimes that's what people do. You talk to one person and then you told them, and now you got to go tell somebody else because
Yep.
it's still on your mind. It's still bothering you. You got to let it go because
Yes.
you
Cut
need
it
to
off.
get back to those positive thoughts and that positive
Yes.
thinking. And oftentimes there was something else that you said about how people see that person being positive, and you never know what a person may be going through, but sometimes it's that this decision to remain positive that helps
Yes.
them to stay on track.
Yes.
That's how they're coping with things. Things may not be perfect in that person's life, but they're choosing to take the higher road, or to see the good, or the glass half full, or whatever the case may be, because
Absolutely.
that's how they're coping. And we shouldn't be judgmental of that, but oftentimes we do see people doing that. Like, I know it's not always that good. No, it's not always that good.
Right.
But sometimes that's how we're able to make it through. So I
Yes.
totally get what you're saying there. And
Yes.
again, it goes back to giving off that energy. If you're gonna be tripping over everything, just because I've done that. I call it like going down a rabbit hole. And for me, it's like
Yes.
I notice one bad thing, then it's something else, and then it's something else. And I started stopping myself, like, hey, don't do this to yourself. But you have to make a conscious decision to do that. Otherwise, you just like let everything overpower you. And the next thing you know, like you don't even understand why you're feeling bad, but you've just kind of let all this stuff just uh build up.
Yes.
So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And that's what people don't realize. They don't understand, that they have a lot of power. Everyone has the most power over their lives, over their situation, over their finances, their relationships, over a lot of things that happen on the day-to-day basis. We have so much power over it. We don't understand. And we give that power away when we make the choice to not change it. We're so used to operating in a certain way that, we don't think about it half the time. We don't catch it. We don't catch it. We don't pay attention. So it's like if we're upset about something, and all of it really is choices.
Yep.
It really is about choices. But like I said, we have grown up, from childhood to adulthood. We've grown up to know things to be a certain way, even about ourselves, that we don't change the programming. So we make these choices. So, just like in a relationship, and my husband and I, we've had to learn this too, over 11 years, that they mean what they say when they say don't go to bed angry. And it's like we used to do that, like, the first part of our relationship. And then like later on, it was like, okay, it makes sense not to go to bed angry. You go to bed angry, you wake up angry. You're still stewing over what happened yesterday or 2 days ago or 3 days ago. When all you can do to change that programming is really approach the situation and say, you know what? We're not going to agree on this. We're two different people with two different mindsets, and that's okay. We don't have to agree. But let's agree that our opinions are different. Let's agree that, maybe we should look at things in a different way and figure it out maybe at a different time. Not today, because we're going to have a good day today, but at a different time. Go to therapy if you need it. Go to counseling if you need it. There's no shame in that. A lot of unfortunately, our Black community are kind of like shadow banned, or they are taunted for wanting to get help. They need help, but they're afraid to get it because of what people are going to say, their family, their friends. They're not educated enough to know that your mental health is important. And it doesn't matter what anybody says. In order for you to move forward in life, you have to keep your mental health in check. And if that means you going to therapy, seeing a therapist, counselor, however have you, then that's exactly what you need to do. And there are resources out there for it. But just like I said, a lot of us are so afraid that, we'll be taunted or emotionally damaged further from it, that we don't do anything to help ourselves and change the programming.
Right. And it is. It's very much like a big part of things. I think a lot of things in life all kind of start with just making a conscious decision,
Yes.
but you have to take that minute to step back and realize when that decision needs to be made. And oftentimes we're so in the moment or on the go, that we don't even think about, like, hey, I could do this differently. You know what I mean? I could change the outcome of this situation if I only took a minute and really thought about it and decided to not play into that lower level of self and think
Yes.
of, with my higher self. And I think oftentimes, like, a lot, and it's crazy because this country puts so much emphasis on like physical health, whereas we're not talking about our mental health, because I
Exactly.
feel like we could all be a lot further along had we already known these things existed. Imagine if they were teaching us about manifestation and the power of positive thinking and all of those things years ago, but I know for me, I didn't learn about such things until I was like in my about 25 or so. I really used to be the negative Nancy person, because again, like I said, I would spiral and I didn't understand it, but I also didn't know that, I was battling with bipolar disorder. So it was a lot of things at play. But again, like the foundation was never there. These are all things that I had to learn as an adult. And I think if we were to kind of teach this to our children, I'm always telling my daughter, because I'll see her like getting into her own rabbit hole, and I'll try to kind of like stop now, like don't do this to yourself, because you're placing yourself into some of these situations. Some of it may be real, but some of it is mental because you're just steadily digging deeper, and we don't even do that oftentimes.
Yes.
So,
And yes. And what helps with it, and again, that's all a part of manifestation. The very first thing is really being aware.
Yeah.
Being aware of, the things that need to change, being aware of, things that are affecting you in a sense that you can't move forward. So, affirmations, I'm actually working on an affirmation book. I'm almost done. But affirmations also help with manifestation because you're rerouting. It's kind of like you're rerouting your journey. You're rerouting the power back to you, so that you can, get in the mindset of, or shifting your mindset to say, okay, this is what I want. This is what I need. So we actually teach our kids about affirmations as well. They didn't understand it at first. They're like, "Mommy, what is that? What am I saying?" So, we keep it. I don't know if you guys can see it. We keep it on our wall there. And some mornings we don't get to it. Some mornings are just absolutely crazy. We don't always get to it, but I try to get them to repeat these affirmations because it's important that they, if nothing else, feel confident about themselves, and that they are giving themselves that reassurance, that love, that I can do this. I heard one of my sons say, "I can't do this." I heard that one time and I was like, "Oh no, we're not doing this. No." And we teach them that can't should not be in your vocabulary.
Yeah.
This is, "Mommy, I'm struggling with this." It can be, "Daddy, I'm having a hard time." It can be, "I'm so confused," but it should never be, "I cannot." Because some of the most influential people in this world today and in past history have proven that we can do anything. Anything. There's not one single thing that we can't do. And, that's not only with my clients, but with my children as well. That's one thing that I always want them to understand, is that you can overcome generational trauma. You can overcome, you can manifest a healthier life, and you can start with you and pass that down to your children, and it be healthy moving forward. You can manifest that for your future, so that when it is your time,
I'm sorry.
That's okay. When you depart from this earth, you've left something behind that will continue to live on. When you manifest generational wealth, when you manifest, mental health, positive mental health, it keeps going. It doesn't just stop with you. It's continuous. And that's what I mean by, don't just ask for one specific thing. Make sure you're asking for and you're manifesting something that's going to bring about the opportunity for it to last forever, if possible. So you don't want to just, don't hone in on one specific thing. "Lord, I'm broke. I need some money," and that's another thing, another tip of manifestation. No negative self-talk. It doesn't matter what it is. And like I said, sometimes we don't think about it when we do it. We make a mistake and we're like, oh, my stupid self, I could have done that something, I could have done that differently. Why wasn't I paying attention? Don't bear down on yourself. No negative self-talk. Eliminate it. That's a part of being aware and manifestation. You want to be fully aware of your, what you say before you say it, what you think before you think it, what you do before it actually takes place. So manifestation is a constant practice. We want to keep practicing the same way Michael Jackson practiced at his craft and Tyler Perry practiced at his. All these people that we admire, these are the same things that we can do just like them. You want to keep practicing.
Right. So some things that I've taken away from this is, one, awareness is very important in order to successfully practice manifestation, because like we were saying, you have to be mindful of what we're thinking. You mentioned prayer is also a form of manifestation, as well as journaling. Yes. There was something else I wanted to touch back on that you mentioned. Well, we know that it takes constant practice as well. Yes. And then there's also that it does require work, outside of the mental aspect of it. You want to make certain that you're aligned also. And so you also shared how manifestation helped you all move from the shelter. You were able to get a job. Just to kind of recap for those who may be coming in late, because we're about to be closing out. But I guess, is there anything else that you would like to share about manifestation?
Trusting the process. Trust the process. Trust the process. Trust you. Trust the process. Because it's never going to work if you're constantly second guessing, doubting process. Yeah. If you know what you want, if you know that this is what you're asking for, if you know that you're doing the work to align yourself with it, and you've gone about the proper channels to ask for it, trust the process. And that's all there's left to do. Keep doing the work, keep journaling, keep asking, keep putting in that work. If you need a new car because your A to B car is no longer serving you that purpose, start going to these dealerships, start test driving these cars, start asking about prices, start asking about models, colors, details, interior, everything down from your tires to your rear lights. Start asking for details. Start trusting the process. I don't care if it takes 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4, trust the process. And keep trusting the process.
And that is so important, because again, like you said initially, it's not an overnight thing. The things that I've and the other thing I was going to say that you had said was practicing and writing affirmations, because I do that as well. And it's just crazy. Like if I look back in my notebook, I have affirmations in there as well. And just saying like, hey, I wrote about, I don't even be realizing how long I've been writing about these things until they occur. And then you be like, wait a minute. I remember I've been writing about this since, 2020 or 2019 or whatever the case may be. Because I have several notebooks. So, but it's just really cool to I think it's good to journal it and to write the affirmations as well, because then you can actually have that proof. You can see for yourself that you actually did bring this about, and it's not something that you're going to be like, oh, I wrote it yesterday and it happens today. But it's a cool thing when you can look back and like, dang, I started writing about this in June of 2019, what I mean? And now it finally happened. But it also shows you like, hey, the power of you, what you can possibly do. So if that worked, then imagine what else you could have been writing about, or what you could write about, So I definitely believe in the power of manifestation. So I'm hoping, I know that it is it's very important for me on this journey right now, because of these are some big goals that I have. And I have been going through a lot of changes. As I've been sharing in my blogs, I've been kind of emotional, very emotional amount, and I'm only on day 28 out of the 90 days, but it's just been a lot to transpire. But I have to make certain that I'm also keeping those goals that I originally set out on May 1st in front of me, and manifestation is a big part of that. So thank you so much. I'm going to call you Kai from now on, because I never think to talk about, but thank you so much, Kai, for coming on and speak with me. And let me just drop, because we did this kind of early this morning, and I've been dealing with a lot of personal stuff, so I did not put a ticker in. But guys, this is Kai's Instagram, if you all would like to follow her on Instagram. And then her ad and everything is on the Swagger Magazine website, so you all can always find her that way. But just in case, if you all would like to follow her there. And then she said that she's working on an affirmations book, and then she already has her other book. Do you want to just tell them about that book as well, Strip to My Truth, right quick?
Yes, Stripped to My Truth, Unpacking the Emotional Baggage is just an inside look at my life from childhood to adulthood. And it is, kind of highlighting some key points that a lot of us maybe struggle with in the dark, and don't necessarily know who and where they can turn to get help with it. So this is just kind of an inside look on my life, just kind of from, like I said, adulthood to childhood. A lot of the things that I went through: homelessness, abandonment, daddy issues, and things like that, and how to heal from them, and just kind of move forward from there. And it's not just daddy issues, but family issues as well, friends, and just a lot of, like I said, a lot of the things that a lot of us have dealt with in the past or currently deal with and are unsure of exactly which road to take. So I'm just kind of giving you a guide, through my life and how I lived, how I got through, how I was able to find my light in the dark. So you can actually find that on my website. www.michaelalthomas.com. I also have blogs there. I have events there that I'll be doing. My upcoming affirmation book release is coming. My documentary will be there as well. So make sure you guys keep an eye out for that. I also have other merch as well. I'm wearing actually one of my t-shirts, my self-love, self-respect t-shirt. Yeah, so all of these things are for sale on there. I've got a bunch of stuff on there. Y'all just go check it out.
Okay, and I did drop her website there, guys, because I tried to go to it a minute ago, but I realized I was missing an L, so that's why I wasn't pulling up. That's why I didn't drop it there. So my bad. But thank you so much, Kyle, for taking the time out to speak with me today. And just I know that manifestation is going to be a big part of this Finding Fancy journey, and I just hope that you all also learn some things about manifestation as well, especially if those of you who may have had questions, because oftentimes you hear people talking about it and you really don't know, but it is all a mental thing, so it's not something that you can necessarily just see in that aspect. But
yes.
Thank you, Michaela. Thank you, Kai.
No problem.
You have a great Saturday.
Thank you. You too. Bye.